I'd like to ponder on the question, especially in this Advent season, and in relation to the gospel today, of what does it mean to be disturbed by God? Today, I'd like to talk more on what does it mean to be disturbed by God based from our gospel reading today, where in the Annunciation of Mary, taken from Luke 1 verses 26 to 38, and we see here that Angel Gabriel was sent by God to tell Mary that he will be bearing a son. But Mary was deeply disturbed by such encounter with the angel Gabriel. He was deeply disturbed, but even asked, how could this happen if I didn't have any affair with a man? But I'd like to point it there about such disturbance that occur as Angel Gabriel talked to Mary. And so for me, I'd like to share to you three things about what does it mean to be disturbed by God. But prior to that, when we say disturb, sometimes it can be a sudden change of our feeling or even our thinking, and some shift of it or our usual flow of our thoughts. And it can even occur through sickness on our part, or even loss of loved one or something, or even fear, or even longingness within our hearts. And sometimes it can be even anger or hate, but it can also be even be disturbed by love. So first thing that I'd like to highlight, what does it mean to be disturbed by God, is that God disturbed us so that in order for us to pause and check on and ask ourselves, where am I now in my life? If you will be asked by now, then where are you now? Or where am I now in my life? I was keep on watching these butterflies when I was doing my reflection, and then keep on flying in there, jumping from one ran grass to another, one flower to another, and they seem to be no direction. I just keep on wondering why. But then here, the butterfly just keep on spreading its wings and maybe looking for food in search of something. And maybe the same with us. It seems to be we tend to become restless, as Saint Augustine says, our hearts are restless until it rests in thee, it rests in God. And sometimes we just go on our own day by day, looking at in search for meaning of our life or purpose, and we tend to be lost. And the only thing is that we can only find the real meaning, the real essence, the purpose of life, which can only be found in Jesus. And so when we are being disturbed by God, it is the Lord is trying to ask us to take a pause and even check and ask, recollect ourselves, to think more and ponder, where am I now in my life? And the second point is, what does it mean to be disturbed by God, is that we are being disturbed because Jesus wants us, or God wants us, to be formed in His own image. I was looking at this cloud formation at the top, wherein the cloud formation doesn't repeat it in its pattern, but it doesn't have a pattern wherein it is very unique. And the same with all of us. God has instilled something in us using our skills, our capabilities, or our knowledge, or intelligence. God has given us such things, those in us that He wants to make use of it. And through disturbing us after moving around with our own life, going on our way, is that He wants to disturb us in that way. I want to form you in this image. I want you to be more like me. And God disturbs us to form us to become the person that He wants us to be, which is after in His own image. And the third thing is that God disturbs us because He wants us to respond, voice it out. I was looking at this, I was doing my reflection, is that there was this dog keep on coming back on me, and then keep on barking, and then, wait, why are you barking on me? I didn't do anything on you. But the point there is that the Lord wants us, disturb us, because He wants us to respond to His calling to each one of us. Because the only calling, the only purpose that we have in this earth, that we have in such life, is that He wants us to love God, to love Him, to love Jesus in our lives, and accept it and embrace it and have it and live it out. Such love that He wants us to have and to be with and to go through with such love. And so with this, my dear friends, is that if whenever the Lord wants to disturb us, He just wants us to respond to His calling. Hey, I've been calling you for several times already. I've been incurring such disturbance, some disturbance on you, but then you don't even responding to me. And so, dear friends, with those three things, to what does it mean to be disturbed by God is that He wants us to pause and check on ourselves. Where am I now? What where am I now in my life? And second is that He disturbs us because He wants to form us to be more like Him, to have such character, even especially in this season of Advent, the character of patience and discipline, of waiting, to be more like Him. And He wants us to respond. That's why He disturbs us. And so, dear friends, as we respond, as we go through this disturbance in our lives, just like the life of Mary, is that the Lord is telling us to trust in me, to trust in the Lord. For we know that upon our waiting, that nothing will be impossible for God. And so, to end, my dear friends, that may we be like Mary. Mary's respond to the angel Gabriel that, I am the Lord's servant. May it be done according to your will. My prayers for you, my dear friends, that in the season of Advent, upon waiting for the coming of the Lord, is that we'd like to embrace more and to ponder, to reflect on how how He's been working in our lives, and even to check, where is the Lord now in my life? Is He still in there in my heart, or maybe He's still outside the door of my heart? And so, dear friends, always remember that you are blessed, and such blessings are not meant for you to be kept, but for you to really share to others. May have a good day.